I'm gonna sit here and tell you with 100% confidence you're not behind in life and there is no such thing as being behind in life. Hi, it's Paulina, and welcome to the My Best Self podcast, where we become the best version of ourselves. As you can see by the title, today we're talking all about why you're not behind in life. And this is the perfect video for anybody that may be feeling lost, they may be feeling like they're behind, like maybe you're comparing yourself to other people's lives. I know that it's very common to feel this way, especially nowadays. I think with social media, I think that just exaggerates. What's the word? Me when I try to use a big word and I forget what it's called. What is that word? Exacerbates? I'm not sure if that's a word. Anyways, I think social media exaggerates the whole feeling of not feeling like you're doing enough and feeling like you're behind. I'm gonna sit here and tell you with 100% confidence you're not behind in life and there is no such thing as being behind in life. And let me explain to you why. Because to be behind means that there is a point of comparison, right? Because you can't be behind something if there's not something in front of it. But the problem here is that we're holding a point of comparison where we cannot make a comparison because we're not living in a race. We're living all in our own separate lives, and all of our lives are meant to be different and our journeys are meant to be different. I'm gonna give you all a little story, random story. One day I was driving on the highway and I was just sitting there and I started to think, wait, this is kind of like life. So we're all here. We're all on the highway, right? We're all stuck here. And we're all going to a different place. We all have a different destination that we need to arrive to. I might be headed to my destination that's like 20 minutes away. You might be headed to a different destination. You might be headed somewhere really far, and your destination might be 10 hours away. So the fact that I arrive at my destination on my timing, that 20 minutes that it was gonna take me to arrive to my destination, doesn't mean that you're not gonna arrive to your destination too. And you wouldn't even be comparing our situations because you're like, oh yeah, like she's going somewhere else. Obviously, she's gonna get there first. And me too, I'm not gonna look at the person that is taking a 10-hour journey and be like, oh, I got here first before them to my place that's 20 minutes away. So there's literally no point of comparison because we're not going to the same place. And that's the same thing with life. We all have our own separate journeys. Whether we may have similar goals or similar things that we want to reach, it doesn't matter. It's still a different journey. That's why I think comparison is so harmful. Because, and especially like I said with social media nowadays, we sit here and we compare our life. But yeah, it's easy when we see people on social media living a life that we desire, or we see people and we see their big accomplishments, but it's easy to see that and forget. You don't know what that person has lived through to achieve whatever accomplishment or achievement that they achieved. You don't know all of the obstacles that it took to get there. And you also are not accounting for all the small wins. You're only looking at the big picture and seeing it as a black and white thing. You have to see it as, oh, it took them time to get there. They accomplished small wins before they accomplished the big one. And it was a journey in itself. And that's literally what life is. It's a journey. So you have to appreciate every step of the way and stop the comparison. Just because you see someone living the most amazing, beautiful life, they may be living that life, but you have to remember they probably have been through a lot too. We've all been through our own obstacles in life. Also important to acknowledge your personal journey. So just like I said, how life is not a race, if life was a race, don't you think we would have all been given the same opportunity since birth? Don't you think we would have been all dealt the same cards? Like, okay, you're gonna have the same exact privileges, you're gonna be raised in the same exact way, and then we're gonna see who's gonna be more successful. Like, if that was life, that would be a whole different story, but that's not life. We are all dealt different cards at birth, and I'm not saying that it's fair, but it's the truth, and it's a truth that we need to acknowledge. We don't all start life in the same place. So I don't know if you guys have seen this video or heard it, but it's very popular. You probably have that video that's like, take 2 steps forward. And I literally looked it up right now so I could know exactly what it says, but it's like, take 2 steps forward if you grew up with the father figure in the home. Take 2 steps forward if your parents are still together. Take 2 steps forward, and it goes on and on and on. And just talking about different privileges that you have, because that's a privilege. To grow up with a father figure in the home, that's a privilege that not everybody gets to have. To grow up around healthy relationships, that's another privilege not everybody gets to have. We have to remember we are a product of our environment. The way that we've grown up what we have been exposed to has shaped our reality and the way that we are now and where we may be in life right now. That is not to say that you can't grow from your environment, that you can't use whatever you have learned in your childhood and growing up in a certain type of environment and use that as leverage to grow and to get somewhere greater. But it is to say that we have to be kind to ourselves when, we get to these places where we might be comparing ourselves, because at the end of the day, you were dealt certain cards, and there's so much that goes into this. Obviously, we're all dealt different cards. We all have different privileges. It goes as deep as like your gender. It goes as deep as your race. It goes as deep as your skin color. All of these different external factors that have shaped your world experience. That's why I just think it's so important not to compare. It's important not to get into a victim mindset of like, yeah, I've been through all of this. I was dealt bad cards at birth. I've been through so much. And there's nothing I can do. And that's it, right? That's not the mindset you want to be in. Telling yourself, this is the life that I'm living and this is my personal journey. And I have these external factors that have contributed to my journey so far. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get to exactly where I need to be. And I think that's the biggest emphasis we need to make. It's where I need to be. So when you're in comparison with other people, you're not putting your attention on the you're putting your attention on someone else. And that's no way to live, because this is your journey. This is where I need to be, not where Juanita, I'm sorry, I'm turning into a Mexican mom right now. But this is not where X, Y, and Z person needs to be. It's where I need to be. And I think there's so much beauty in that, and realizing that the grass is greener where you water it. So water your own grass. Stop looking at the neighbor's grass. And when you worry about your own grass, you will see that there is no comparison. There is no point of comparison, because you are focused on your own life. You're the only person that has experienced every single experience that you have had. So focus on yourself, on your journey, and you will never feel behind again, because you know that this is your own path. And when you're the only person on a path, you'll never be behind, because you're not in comparison with anybody else. There's nobody else on that path. It's only your path. And another beautiful thing that I want to share is how quickly life can change. And this for me just inspires me. It's to think that in one day, from one day to the next, your life can literally change. From one day to the next, you can meet somebody so amazing. You can meet your future husband. You can meet the love of your life. You can meet someone that's going to change your business around. You can figure out something that never clicked for you before, and now it did. And now it's like changing your whole perspective on life. The beauty in life is that it's ever changing, and you never know when the next change is coming. And that's something so beautiful and so inspiring. And something that really helps me too is remembering that we live in seasons. So we are going to have different seasons in our life. And that it goes again with the fact that we shouldn't compare, because we're all living in different seasons and different timing, right? So I really do see life this way. And I've noticed patterns in my life where I'm like, wow, it really is true. There's seasons. There's going to be seasons of growth. There's going to be seasons where all of this momentum is building up, and it's like you're going up, 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 and everything is working out perfectly, and you're seeing the most growth and the most expansion and abundance in your life. And then there's also going to be seasons where you need rest. There's going to be seasons where you need to rest. There's going to be times when you just need to chill and to calm down. And a lot of the times when we're in these rest periods, it's like things may be changing in our life, things may be not working out. But the best thing about being in a rest season is that it gets so quiet. It gets so quiet that you can finally hear what you need to hear. You can finally hear your inner thoughts, and you can finally have that compass of where you need to go. And then there's healing seasons. There's times where you just need to focus on you, where you just need to heal. There's different seasons and different periods that we go through in life. And I think that it's really harmful to think that you're always going to be in this growth season. And we can easily feel this way when we compare ourselves, because then it's like you're comparing your rest season, you're comparing it to somebody's growth season. And now you're taking away from your own time, because you're not living in the moment. You're living hoping for the future, hoping to have this period of your life where you can be expansive again, when instead you should be enjoying the moment for what it is. And it's such a thing that we do, live in the future or live in the past, and it's really harmful. And I'm a victim too. I'm not a victim, but I do the same thing sometimes. And it's like, look, if you want to enjoy life and really make the most out of it, you have to remember the only thing that we have is now. That's all we have. The past only exists inside of your mind, and so does the future. The only thing that you have is right now. So enjoy it, make the most out of it, live with gratitude, because life is ever changing, like I said. And the thing about life is you never know how something that you're doing right now in this very moment is going to affect you 15 years, 20 years down the line. So sometimes we don't realize how we're building these skills that one day we're going to use. I really believe one day we're going to look back at our life and see it as a puzzle and see how all of the pieces fit together, and how something that you were learning at a certain point in your life, you had no idea it was going to connect to something way different, but it connected and it fit perfectly, and you were meant to go through that certain experience so that now you had the tools to deal with this other experience. So whatever tools you acquire during your different seasons in life, they're going to be useful one day to you. Even if you don't know how exactly yet, everything combines. And one day when you look at the big picture, it's like, wow, this really had to happen to me so that I could achieve this. Or wow, I really needed to prepare. I really needed that season of preparation. That's another season. And when you're in preparation, you have to remember your blessings are coming, but you need to prepare for them. Because what if you were to get your blessing today? Would you be able to sustain it tomorrow? Or would you lose it quickly, right? So you have to be prepared. And sometimes we don't even know what we're preparing for exactly. And in different periods of our life, you might learn different things and acquire all these tools that are gonna help you in the future when you're in that season of growth, when you're ready to receive whatever blessings that you're receiving. I think that's a beautiful way of seeing life. I think we really have so much power over what happens to us, and it all comes down to the way that we view things and our mentality towards life. So I just want you to know you're not behind. You are living in your journey and your path, and that is going to look different for everybody. And if you feel like you've been waiting on your blessings and you feel like, you're trying your best, but things are not going the right way, I always encourage you to be patient and have faith that things are going to work out for you. Have faith that everything is going to align. And sometimes there are certain blessings that are so big that you really do need to prepare. And that preparation season is different for everybody. So just know, if you're working on something, if you're building towards something, everything that you're doing now, it's going to add up. It's going to build up. And what you're learning right now is going to help you in the future. I really hope this episode has been helpful for you. I hope that you can remember not to compare yourself. I think that is one of the biggest things when it comes to feeling behind. Because the truth is, we're all on a different journey. We're on a different path. And that's the beauty of life. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you're listening on Spotify, I would love to ask you if you can please rate the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, if you can like the video, subscribe, all of that is super helpful. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in next week's episode next Monday at 10 a.m. PST. Bye.